Hello, dear students. I welcome you all on behalf of Sri Jayendra Rank Zone classes. Dear students, we are studying now the class 11th chapter, that is Morphology of Flowering Plant. And in the previous classes, we have studied in detail about the vegetative structures like root and stem. But in today's lecture, we are going to talk about another vegetative structure, that is leaf. Now, as we hear this term leaf, immediately we think of the flattened organ on the plant, which are green in color usually, and which have a ability to synthesize the food in plant, and we call it as a leaf. So that is just a image which can develop in our mind. So if we talk about more about a leaf and we get in-depth knowledge, then leaf is a green lateral, means it is laterally arranged. They are flat, a flattened organ, and borne on the stem or the branch. Means leaf can be arranged on the stem or the branch of the stem. And it is actually developed at the node of the stem or its branch. Means the node are the region, a condensed region, which are known as node, and the region between two nodes is known as internode. So at each node you will see the presence of a particular leaf. Now in leaf, if we see particularly when a leaf is present at the node, it forms a axil, and the bud which is present in this axil, it is known as axillary bud. So this is the leaf, okay, actually, a flattened organ, okay. Now, if we talk about this statement, what this statement says, suppose this is a stem, and over stem this is the node, and over node suppose this is a leaf, then this angle is known as axil, and this angle there is a presence of bud, and that bud is known as axillary bud. So if we talk about the definition of axil, axil is an angle between a petiole of a leaf and younger stem. This is growing like this, so this is going to be younger stem. This angle is known as axil, and the bud which is present in this, it is known as axillary bud. So leaf usually bear this axillary bud in its axil. The axillary bud later develop into the branch. What is the function of this axillary bud? It grow and form a branch. Now, from where this leaf originate? Actually, leaves originate from the shoot apical meristem. Means when shoot apical meristem is going on, then it can develop a leaf literally while growing. And leaves are arranged in acropetal order on the stem and its branches. It means, suppose this is a stem and this is the growing stem. So when stem is reached here, it develops leaf here at this node. At another node, it is developing leaf like this. At another node, it is developing leaf like this. So it is now it is growing here. Suppose when it is reached here, it develops a particular leaf here and keep growing like this. So when this branch is growing on, then this is the younger leaf, and this is the older leaf. So when in the arrangement of leaf, younger leaves are towards the apex and older leaf are towards the base, because this is the base, then it is known as acropetal. Acropetal means acrometal means apex. Younger flower are towards present the apex on the stem, and the younger leaf are present towards the apex of the stem or branches, then it is known as acropetal order or arrangement of leaves. Now when we talk about the structure of leaf, in each leaf you will see this many structures. Suppose this is the one leaf. In this leaf, this whole green part, is known as leaf blade. It is known as leaf blade, or we also call it as a leaf lamina. which is a green in color. Now this elongated stick-like structure, it is known as petiole. And petiole is a connecting structure which connects this particular to the node through this structure, and this is a leaf base. So in the structure of leaf, if we talk, the leaf has a three part, that is a lamina, then petiole and leaf base. And this is the node. And to node the particular leaf is attached on the stem. When we talk about leaf lamina or leaf blade, you will see that there is a one elongated axis which is known as midrib. The branches of midrib are known as veins, and then branches of veins are known as veinlets. You can see these are the veinlets. So this veinlets and veins form a network in this particularly leaf lamina. So it is a three parts: leaf lamina, petiole, and node and base. Through leaf base, it is attached to the stem, but petiole is flexible. That you should remember. Petiole is flexible, and due to the flexibility of this petiole, this leaf has the ability to flutter according to the direction of the wind. And these they are the most important vegetative organ for photosynthesis. Means photosynthesis is mainly carried out by leaf, so it is the most important organ for the photosynthesis. If we talk about the typical leaf, as we have seen in the previous slide, it consists of three main parts. One is leaf base, another one is petiole, and another one is a leaf lamina or leaf blade. You can see in this leaf that there is a leaf base, this is the axillary bud, and this is a petiole, and this is the base, and the veins are there, marginal there. So this is the leaf lamina. If you talk about this is a petiole, and the point through which it is attached to it, that is known as leaf base. Okay, now if we talk about one by one of each one, if we talk about leaf base, the leaf is attached to the base, to the stem, by this structure that is known as leaf base. So leaf is the basal portion through which the whole leaf is attached to the particularly stem. Then at the base, leaf base, to its surrounding, it may bear a lateral to small leaf-like structures called stipules. So we will discuss what is stipule. In monocot plant, it is known as, in monocot specifically, the leaf base is too much expanded into a sheath-like covering, and that sheath covering, when cover the stem partially or completely, then it is known as sheathing leaf base. Means leaf base is too much flattened, it is a sheath like, it is expanded, and it is covering the base, it is covering the stem particularly partially or wholly, so it is known as sheathing leaf base. You can see this is the sheathing leaf base. In this you can see this whole is a leaf base, but is covering this stem completely, so it's complete. And this type of sheathing leaf base are found in monocot plants. Okay, suppose this is a leaf, this is a stem, and this is a leaf base. Then at this leaf base you will find two small leaf-like structures, and these leaf-like structures are known as stipule. Okay, now what is pulvinous leaf base? In some of the leguminous plant, you will see that the leaf base is swollen, and this swollen leaf base is known as pulvinous. And this pulvinous is nothing but a swollen leaf base. Now you can see this is the particular pulvinous leaf base. As you can see, this is a particularly, this is a stem, and over leaf this is particularly developing, suppose. So this is a swollen leaf base, and this is known as pulvinous. Okay, and this pulvinous is found in case of the monocot. Okay, Here you can see here also there is a presence of this particular small leaf-like structure that is known as stipule at the base of the leaf. So stipule can be there. Leaf base can be expanded, then it is known as sheathing leaf base in case of monocot. If it is swollen, that is known as pulvinus. Pulvinus is found in leguminous plant. And the two lateral leaf-like appendages at the near the leaf base, it is known as stipules. Above the leaf base, you will find another part of this leaf that is known as petiole. And this petiole help in exposing the lamina to the sunlight. If you want to expose this lamina, if you want to arrange a lamina in such a way that proper light availability can occur, then that is carried out by the petiole. And petiole is a long, thin, flexible, and it help leaf blade or lamina to flutter in wind according to the direction of wind. And this flexibility to this particular petiole is given by one of the tissue which is present in petiole, that is known as collenchyma. And due to this fluttering, they get cooling of the leaf and bring a fresh air to the leaf surface. You can see this is a petiole, this is a leaf base, okay, leaf blade or lamina. Now, one more thing that you should remember, that this petiole is flexible due to presence of collenchyma tissue. This is the petiole, you can see. Which part of the plant will be exposing the lamina of light? Then it's obviously the petiole that we have studied now. Now, the most important part, that is the leaf lamina, is there. And leaf lamina is the lamina or leaf blade, which is a green expanded part of the leaf, which has a midrib vein and veinlets, and which has a ability to perform a photosynthesis. Then it is a leaf vein now. There is usually middle prominent in one prominent vein is seen, that is known as midrib. You can see in this particular part, this is the lamina, whole lamina. And in this lamina, you will see this is the main axis, main prominent vein, that is known as midrib. That is the main principal vein. And apart from midrib, you will see this one. And these are the nothing but veins. Okay. So veins are found in a lamina. The branches of midrib are veins, and vein can give rise to the veinlets. But these veins or midrib have a vascular tissue. They have a vascular tissue like xylem and phloem. So initially, veins provide a rigidity to the leaf blade. The leaf blade is somewhat rigid and remain against the wind due to this particular rigidity provided by the veins to the leaf blade. But these veins also act as a channel of transport of water, mineral, and food, because they bear or they have xylem and phloem vascular tissue within them. The shape, margin, apex, surface, and extension of incision of lamina vary in different leaves. In when we compare the different leaves, we will find a different shape. They have a different margin. They have different tip or apex. They have a different surface, and the incision or cuttings in the lamina are of very different ways. So you can see this is the particular different type of different shape of leaves. You can see here, this is the cutting, this is known as incision. What is incision? Incision is nothing but this one. Such type of cutting are known as incision. So let's see some of the easy questions. And the first one is swollen leaf base in leguminous plant is called as, so we know that it is known as pulvinus, and this pulvinus is found in leguminous plant. Then, which part of the leaf is useful for attachment of leaf to the stem? It is known that leaf base, petiole, lamina, and axillary bud. So, which part of the leaf is useful in attachment of leaf to the stem? Then it is obviously a leaf base. Which part of the leaf provides a rigidity to the leaf? Then, just we have discussed, veins are responsible for providing rigidity and also act as a particularly channel for the transport of water and mineral and food because it bear a xylem and phloem like vascular tissue. The vegetative axillary bud develop into branch. Vegetative axillary bud develops into so branch is developed by the axillary bud. Okay, so till this we have discussed all this particular terminology and all these particular things with respect to the structure of leaf. Okay, now after structure of leaf we are going to talk about some of the other characteristics of the particularly leaf. Now in this, after studying this, we remember some of the note point here, that leaf is also known as phylopodium, and the parts of leaf which we have discussed like leaf, blade or lamina, that is epipodium. Then petiole is mesopodium, and leaf base is also known as hypopodium. So epipodium is lamina, mesopodium is petiole, and leaf base is hypopodium. Okay, and the function that we have discussed already. Now next we are going to talk about the venation in the type of leaves. First we are going to talk about venation. What is venation? Venation is a arrangement of veins and the veinlets in the lamina of the leaf. How these veins and veinlets are arranged in lamina, that is explained by this venation. Now venation is of two types. One is reticulate and another one is the parallel. Now, if we talk about this two type of venation, then in reticulate venation, you will see that the veinlets form a network, and the venation is termed as reticulate. Means veins form a veinlets, and veinlets are going to form a network, a net-like structure. Then it is known as reticulate venation. And this reticulation venation is seen in the leaves of dicot plant generally. So if you can see this particular leaf, then here you can see that this is the midrib, then these are the veins, these are the veins, but here these veins are forming a veinlets that forming a network, and such type of network is formed due to the vein and veinlets. So these veinlets are forming a network, and this network, like network, is seen everywhere, so it is known as reticulate venation. You can see here also, this is the vein, but this vein are forming a network here, a small network you can see here. Okay, so when a veins form a network, it is known as reticulate venation, which is common in dicot. Now it is common in dicot, but there are exception dicot, but they have exceptional monocot which are also show the this particular reticulate venation. So monocot example which show a reticulate venation, that is smilex. Okay, now After this, if we talk in more detail, then this reticulate venation is of two types. Reticulate venation is of two types. One is unicostate and another one is the multicostate. In multicostate reticulate venation, you will see that, and unicostate, in unicostate reticulate venation, you see that it is a type of venation having only one principal vein or midrib. Unicostate venation have only one principal vein or midrib, whereas and this unicostate is also known as pinnate venation. But this multicostate is also known as palmate venation, and in this multicostate there are many principal vein arising from the tip of petiole. Now, if we discuss some more in detail, then in unicostate, you will see the one principal midrib vein like this, and other are the veins, and these veins forming a network like this. So, due to the presence of one principal vein like this, it is known as, and due to the presence of reticulate venation, it is unicostate reticulate venation, and this unicostate reticulate venation is seen in Apple and China rose. Okay. Now, apart from this, in which you will see the multicostate, but multicostate where the multiple principal were arise from the tip of petiole, but this multicostates of two type, that is convergent and divergent. If we talk about convergent, suppose this is a petiole of, and this is a leaf. Here one principal vein, another, another, another like this principal vein is formed. And here you will see the reticulate venation. So multiple principal vein and they are converging at one point, then it is known as convergent. But if we talk about divergent, then you will see that the veins are diverging and there is a reticulate venation. So when they are all midrib joining at one point, then it is convergent. They are going away from each other and arising from the petiole and multiple midrib, then it is known as divergent. If we talk about convergent, which occurs at the towards the apex of the lamina, then example of convergent multicostate reticulate venation, you will see that it is a Gigipus and Smilex. Divergent is seen in castor, that is resinus, and grapevine. White is also known as grapevine. So such way reticulate venation can occur in different plants. But after reticulate venation, next we are going to talk about a parallel venation. In parallel venation, the veins and veinlets run parallel to each other. Within a vein, actually, veinlets are not found here, veins are mainly found. And veins are parallel to each other, then it is known as parallel venation. It is mostly seen in case of the monocot. So you can see here the parallel venation is seen, and in this you can see here the all particular is the midrib, and all other veins are running parallel to each other. You can see this, all these are running parallel. Here also you can see they are running from each parallel to each other. Here also you can, this is midrib and they are running parallel to each other. Then it is known as parallel venation. Now, if we talk about parallel venation and its type, the running of parallel all veins, then the parallel venation is of two types. This parallel venation is of two types, that is unicostate and multicostate. In unicostate, if we talk, which is also known as pinnate, and multicostate, which is also known as palmate, then in unicostate you will see that only one principal vein is present and the lateral veins or that run parallel to each other. And suppose this is a main single principal vein and this is a leaf. So in this all other veins run parallel to each other like this. So veins are running parallel to each other, but there is only single principal vein, then it is known as unicostate. And this unicostate is seen in case of the banana. Whereas multicostate, in which multiple principal veins are there and they are running parallel to each other, then in multicostate there is a convergent and divergent. When we talk about a convergent, then here all the principal veins run parallel to each other and they meet at one point, then it is known as convergent. But if they reach away from each other, multiple principal vein, they are going away from each other, and it is known as divergent. If we talk about convergent, the example are bamboo and grasses. But if we talk about example of divergent, then that are a fen palm. And this you should remember. Okay, so this is a parallel venation. Now, the parallel venation is common in monocot, common in monocot, but some dicot also have this parallel venation. And the dicot which show a parallel venation are calophyllum, corymbium, and eryngium. That all show this parallel venation. Whereas in reticulate, some monocot also showing a particular reticulate venation, and the example of some monocot show reticulate venation are Smilex, Dioscorea, Alocasia, Colocasia. Okay, so these are the monocot which is showing the reticulate venation. So this example you should remember. Now after the venation, that is the arrangement of vein and veinlets and their different types with their example, now we are going to study the type of leaves. When we study the type of leaves, this type of leaves are based on the morphology or appearance of the leaf lamina. And based on the appearance of the morphology of the leaf lamina, the leaves are classified into main two types, that is simple leaves and the compound leaves. If we talk about simple leaves, in these leaves the lamina is entire or complete, or if incised, means if cuttings are developing in the lamina, then that cutting or incision are also does not reaches or touch to the midrib, then it is known as simple leaf. You can see here, this is simple leaf. See, this is the complete entire, we can say, a leaf. But here in this you will see that there are some cutting incision like this is a cutting, this is a cutting, this is a cutting, this is a cutting. So here this cutting or incision are developing, but this incision do not reach to the midrib, then also it is known as simple leaf. But if this incision or cutting reach to the midrib or a pit or tip of the petiole, then it will be compound leaf. So compound leaf, if we talk, are the leaf in which the incision or the cuttings or the lobes of the lamina reach up to the midrib. And when it reach to the midrib, the whole lamina, complete lamina, will be divided into some parts, and these parts are known as leaflets. Now, if we want to differentiate between the leaf and leaflet, then in the axil of the leaf, you will see the presence of bud, that is axillary bud. So the second statement is saying that a bud is present in the axil of petiole in both simple and compound leaves. Means in leaf axil, there is a presence of bud. But in the axil of leaflet, the bud cannot be present. Okay. So in the axil of leaf, you will can see the presence of bud, but in the leaf axil of leaflet, you will not see the presence of bud. And if the incision are forming, the leaflets are forming, and leaflets are forming due to the reaching of incision to the midrib or the tip of the petiole, then the compound leaves are produced. But these compound leaves are of two types: pinnately compound leaf and palmately compound leaf. If we talk about a pinnately compound leaf, then in a pinnately compound leaf, a number of leaflets are present on the common axis called a rachis or the midrib, and that is seen in case of the neem. See, from the childhood, might be we are considering that this is a leaf, but actually it is not like that. This whole is the leaf of neem tree, and the incision or cutting is developed here, and it reached to the midrib. This is the midrib, and this are the leaflet. So this thing is known as phenatally compound leaf, and this phenatally compound leaf are known to occur in case of the neem tree. But this phenatally compound leaf can be of different type, and in this, the first type, if we talk about, then the first type is unipinnate or unipinnately compound leaf. In unipinnate, the leaflets are arranged on the rachis, are present on primary axis or midrib or rachis, then it is known as unipinnate. But this unipinnate is of two types, that is peripinnate and imperipinnate. When it is imperipinnate or peripinnate, if we talk about, then here the leaflets are in even number. Peripinnate means even number of leaflets, and imperipinnate means odd number of leaflet. Now, even number of leaflet, if it is present here, these are the 2, 4, and 6. Then it is peripinnate. But if these are the 2, 4, 6, and if terminal leaflet is present, then it is known as imperipinnate. But they are of odd number if they are peripinnate. Even number they are peripinnate, because here terminal leaflet is absent. Is absent. If we talk about the example of peripinnate, then it is acacia and tamarindus. And if we talk about imperipinnate, then the examples are Rosa indica, that is rose, and Azadirachta indica, that is neem, or margosa tree. Okay, so that is imparipenate. Now after this, another type which is seen in case of the pinnately compound leaf, that is bipinnate. And in bipinnate, the leaflets are present on secondary axis. And secondary axis are nothing but the branches, immediate branches of the midrib. So suppose this is a primary midrib and this is the secondary axis. If leaflets are arranged over this, then it is known as bipinnate. So this is the secondary axis. So if we talk about examples of the bipinnate, then they are the acacia, that is Australian acacia, mimosa, pudica, and Nelonix. The third type is tripinnate, and tripinnately compound leaf are the leaves in which the leaflet are present on tertiary axis. Tertiary axis are the nothing but the branching of what, a secondary axis. So suppose this is the primary axis, this is the secondary axis, and these are the tertiary axis. And if leaflet are attached over the tertiary axis, then it is known as tripinnate. So the example which show a tripinnately compound leaf are moringa and melia. Whereas the fourth type is decompound or pinnately compound leaf. In decompound, what happens here, midrib or rachis is divided repeatedly without any definite pattern. Without any definite pattern, so that lamina is dissected into narrow segments. And if we see the diagram of this, we will see that like this is found. So irregular segments are found. And this decompound is seen in one of the known example for you, that is a coriandrum. And apart from this, there is a carrot and parthenium, which show this a penetrally compound leaf. After this, now we are going to talk about palmately compound leaf. In palmately compound leaf, what happens? The incision occur and incision reach to the common point at the tip of petiole. So the leaflets are arranged at the common point, that is the tip of petiole. And the example is one of the known example is Bombex seba, which is known as sick cotton tree according to the NCRT. That example is important. But we will see somewhat in detail. See, this is the important thing. This is the particularly petiole. And at the tip you will see these are the leaflet. So this whole is a leaf, but these are the leaflet. So leaflets are attached at the tip of the petiole. Now if we talk about the palmately compound leaf in detail, then palmately compound leaf are of different type, and they are unifoliate. In unifoliate you will see that the particular leaflet it present at the tip of petiole. See, this is the tip of petiole, and here like this leaflet is present. Then the example of unifoliate are citrus plant, and citrus plant are lemon and orange. In citrus, one more thing you will see, that is a small this wing like dissected portion. So we can say this as a winged petiole. So if somebody asks a winged petiole is found in, then it is in the citrus, but this is a unifoliate. Second type is bifoliate. Now in bifoliate, what happens? This is the tip of the petiole, and over the tip you will see the presence of two leaflet. So it is a bifoliate, and the bifoliate, if we talk example, then it is seen in bignonia. Apart from this, a third type which is found, that is known as trifoliate. Now trifoliate palmately compound leaf, if we see in this, the tip of petiole, you will see the presence of three leaflet. Then this trifoliate is seen in some of the examples like dolichos, then trifolium, then Igle marmelos, that is bell tree. So these are the example in which trifoliate palmately compound leaf are there. And the fourth type is quadrifoliate. In this quadrifoliate, the four leaflet are found at the tip of the petiole, like this. So this quadrifoliate is seen in some of the example like Marsilia and Paris. And after this, the next type which is seen, that is multifoliate. That is the fifth type. And in multifoliate, you will see that multiple leaflet are present at the tip of petiole. And this multifoliate condition is seen one of the known example, and this example is given in NCRT, that is Bonvex or silk cotton tree, in which palmately compound leaf are found. Now, after this, if we discuss some of the MCQs, then venation include the arrangement of leaves, arrangement of root, arrangement of veins, and none of this. So, arrangement of veins is known as venation. And we have studied that is the two type, that is reticulate and parallel. The parallel venation is seen in the parallel venation is usually seen in monocot plant. So usually it is seen in monocot, but there are some exceptional dicot which also show parallel venation. Compound leaves are again divided into how many types? Compound leaves are divided into two types, that is pinnately compound leaf and palmately compound leaf. What is the scientific name of silk cotton? It is Bombex, that is a Bombex ceiba. Now, after this studying the structural part, then venation part and the type of leaf, now next we are going to study the phyllotaxy of leaf. If we talk about phyllotaxy of leaf, it is a arrangement of leaves. It is a pattern of arrangement of leaves on the stem or branches. Then it is known as phyllotaxy. The what in what pattern the leaves are arranged over the stem or in branches. It is usually of three types, that is alternate, opposite, and word. Now let's talk about these three types of phyllotaxy one by one. And first we are going to talk about alternate phyllotaxy. Alternate phyllotaxy. In this phyllotaxy, at each node you will find the presence of a single leaf. And at each node, a single leaf which arises is in alternate fashion to the previous one. So the single leaf arises at each node in an alternate manner, then it is known as alternate phyllotaxy. And this alternate phyllotaxy is known to seen in case of the China rose, whose scientific name is Hibiscus rosa sinensis. Then another, the mustard plant, in which you will see the alternate phyllotaxy. And then in the sunflower, you will see this particular alternate phyllotaxy. Okay, so you can see in this diagram that which is showing alternate phyllotaxy. You can see here that these are the nodes, and at each node you will see the presence of leaf in one on this side, then it is on this side, this side, this side. That's alternate. Here also you can see these are the node, and or on each node there is a one leaf that is in an alternate fashion. Same happens here also. So it is alternate phyllotaxy which is seen in these examples. Another is opposite phyllotaxy. And opposite phyllotaxy, if we talk, in this there are two leaves or a pair of leaves arise at each node. And this pair of leaves which arise at each node, they are lies opposite to each other. You can see this is the thing. You can see here that this is the node, and on this node this and this two opposite leaves are present. Same way on this node, one in on this side and one on this side, this particular leaf node are seen. And this is a calotropis. Here this is the leaf in which guava, very also you will see that on each node there are two leaves, a pair of leaves are present. But here you will see that this pair is at right angle to the previous one, and next this pair is also right angle to this one. So this is known as a decussate phyllotaxy, or we can say decussate opposite. Means the pair of leaves at a one node are opposite to each other and at right angle to the previous one. But here in guava you will see that this all are present in a same plane. So these two are superimposing this one, and the uppermost two are superimposing all the one. So this is known as superimposition. imposed opposite phyllotaxy, which is seen in case of the guava. After opposite phyllotaxy, the last phyllotaxy which we are going to discuss, that is walled phyllotaxy. And in walled phyllotaxy, there are presence of more than two leaves at each node, which is going to form a group. So if more than two leaves are right at each node and form a wall or a group, then it is called as wall phyllotaxy. It is found in case of Nerium and Elstonia. See, in this Nerium, you can see that the multiple are present at each node. Here also you can see that at one node multiple leaves are present, that is known as the walled phyllotaxy, which is seen in case of the Neria and Elstonia. The Elstonia is also known as devil's tree. Okay, so these are the three types of phyllotaxy and which showing the pattern of arrangement of leaf. After phyllotaxy, we are going to talk about the modification of leaves. Now, when we study the modification of leaves, dear students, this modification of leaf occur for special purposes. And when the leaves are modified to perform various functions other than the photosynthesis, it is known as leaf modification. And here they are converted into or modified into leaf tendrils, leaf spines, storage leaves, phylloid, and trap leaves. If we talk about them one by one, and if we talk about a leaf tendril first, then here in some plant, whole leaf is modified into spirally coiled wire-like structure. So when a long wiry spirally coiled sensitive structure is formed by the modification of the leaf, then it is called as leaf tendril. Actually, this leaf tendril help particular plant to climb the upper height by using a support of another plant and coiling over it. So it helped in a climbing. And this tendrils are found here like this in case of pisum. Okay, these are the terminal tendrilar leaflet. Okay, now here leaf tendril are known to occur in the example. Specifically if we talk, then it is a Lathyrus aphaca. It is also in the pea, but that pea is a wild pea and its scientific name is Lathyrus aphaca. Then in Pisum you will see the leaflet tendril actually. Okay, so there are a leaflet get modified in form of tendril, then it is known as leaflet tendril. This leaflet tendril actually is seen in case of the Pisum sativum, that is garden pea, and Lathyrus odoratus, that is sweet pea. Okay, this leaflet tendril are found. Then leaf get modified into a pointed structure known as spines. So the small pointed structure formed by the modification of leaves are known as leaf spine. And these are formed to reduce the rate of transpiration. If leaf get modified into the spiny structure, the surface area is getting reduced, so the rate of transpiration get reduced, and that the decrease in the rate of transpiration is useful for the defense, and they are also useful for the defense, that is the spines. You can see in the cactus and opuntia, you can see the leaf spines. So these are the leaf spines actually. Here also these are the leaf spines. And this green part is nothing but a phylloclade, that is stem. Okay, flattened stem. Then after spines, another leaf modification for the food storage, and that are known as storage leaves. These storage leaves store food and become fleshy, and these storage leaves are found in case of the Allium cepa, that is onion, and Allium sativum, that is garlic. So if somebody asks that which part or which vegetative or which part of the plant is edible in case of the garlic and onion, then you should remember that these are the leaves. So this all are nothing but leaves. Okay, these are the leaves, and this species of the garlic are also the nothing but a leaf modification. Then the next modification is phylloid. Here the leaves are pinnately compound and in which leaf slits are small and short-lived. So here the petiole of this plant expand or get swollen and become green and synthesize a food. So the leaflet are small, so they are not able to perform a photosynthesis. So petiole get expand and become green and synthesize food. Then it is known as phylloid. Here you can see this is the actually petiole, and over this petiole you will see the arrangement of bipinnately compound leaf like this. So actually leaf are this one. This is the petiole, and this petiole is known as phylloid, and this petiole is seen in one of the important example, that is acacia. Now this acacia is also known as Australian acacia. What? Australian acacia. And the scientific name of Australian acacia is Acacia auriculoformis. Okay. Now after phylloid, the next modification of leaf, that is the trap leaves. Now the trap leaves are also called insectivorous leaves, which are found in some of the insectivorous plants. Now here the leaves get modified in such a way that they trap insect, and by trapping insect they complete or they fulfill their nitrogen requirement by killing the insect. So here you can see the example, some of the insectivorous plant. In this the leaf is getting modified into the particularly trap leaves. Then this is the one of the example. This is another example of trap leaves. This first example is of Venus flytrap, that is a what, a Dionia, which is a modified leaf. Okay, so these are the particularly a leaf, and when insect get captured within these two leaf, that this two leaf part get closed and insect get killed and the nutrition getting completed. But this is the another example of the Nepenthes pitcher plant, and in Nepenthes pitcher plant only lamina get modified and form a pitcher. And when you see this part, this is the lamina, this is the petiole, and petiole some gets spirally coiled, and over this there is a particular lid. Okay, so when in this picture the insect sit over here periphery and pushed or get slipped inward, this lid get closed, and within this picture the killing of this insect occurs and nutrition is observed. Apart from this are the spirally coiled petiole is found, that is known as petiolar tendril. So if somebody asks where the petiole is like tendril, then it is in case of the nepenthes or a pitcher plant. Okay, so this is a tendril upper petiole, and this is a modified lamina, that is pitcher, and this is a phylloid, that is a lower petiole. Okay, now apart from these there are several other examples are also found, like there is another plant of this trap leaves, that is a decidia. Here complete leaf is modified into picture, and in Isidia water is stored in picture of this decidia, and this decidia is a non-insectivorous pitcher. It already store the rain water. Apart from this, the leaf get modified into a bladder-like structure. Then we call it as a leaf bladder. And leaf bladder are known to seen in one of the important example, that is utricularia, which is also known as bladder wort. Okay, so this is the particular different modification of the leaf. Now let's talk about some of the MCQs. What is the mean by phyllotaxy? Then it is arrangement of leaves on the stem, arrangement of veins, arrangement of leaves on a petiole. None of this. So it is arrangement of leaves on the stem or its branches. Then the first is the correct one. Next, in hibiscus rosa sinensis, phyllotaxis is hibiscus rosa sinensis is nothing but China rose, and in China rose you will see the presence of alternate phyllotaxy. Along with China rose, mustard and sunflower also show the alternate phyllotaxy. In Nepenthes picture is, it is a modified petiole, modified stem, modified lamina or modified root, then it is a modified lamina. What is the example of trap leaves? Trap leaves, if we talk, then the Nepenthes is the example of these trap leaves. Okay, dear students. So thank you. I hope you understood this leaf in detail. We have started with the introduction, structural part, then we have covered venation, then we have covered or studied the type of leaves, then phyllotaxy, and then their modification for the different purposes. Okay, so here the vegetative structures in this chapter are over, as we have discussed in previous classes about the root and stem, and today is about leaf. The vegetative structure, study of vegetative structure in morphology of angiosperm or flowering plant is over. Now onwards we will start with the reproductive structures. Okay, till that, thank you everybody.